Hello and welcome to No Rest for the Weekend. I'm Jason Godbey, and today on the program, I'll be speaking with some of the creators from this year's Brooklyn Film Festival. But first, we got some No Rest for the Weekend news. In May, Reel Works held their 23rd annual ChangeMaker Gala at the Ziegfeld Ballroom in Midtown Manhattan. This year's honorees included actor-producer Sanaa Lathan, Reel Works board member Chris Poindexter, and Focus Features president of distribution Lisa Bunnell. We were there on the red carpet to talk to some of the guests and honorees. John, how does it feel to be here this evening?
I'm very excited. It feels like the culmination of many, many months of hard work. This room right now isn't that crowded yet, but about 400 people are going to be coming in over the next half hour. And they are people from Paramount and NBC and Amazon and Netflix and all the major studios. They're here to celebrate our young filmmakers. They're here to see the future of this industry. And hopefully they'll give generously, because that's why we do these events.
For those who don't know, can you kind of explain what Reel Works is and what Reel Works does?
Reel Works combines peerless filmmaking education, free filmmaking and mentoring programs for teens, with workforce development and helping them get jobs. So a kid can come to Reel Works as a middle school student or a high school student, make their first film, get a mentor, decide they love working, they want to work, have their career. Maybe they want to be an editor. Maybe they want to be a cinematographer. By the time they're junior, senior in high school, they can get their first internship at a media company. Then if they want to go to college, they can still do our programs. They can still do our advanced programs. They can do more internships. And if they want to be a grip or an electric or a hairstylist or a number of union crafts, we'll train them for those crafts and help them get them jobs in film and television.
Tonight, what's the significance, and can you talk a little bit about the honorees and people that you're going to honor here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Sanaa Lathan is a legend and a superstar. We're so thrilled to have her here. You know, her career as an actor, but also as a producer, as a director, she represents our students' highest aspirations. She is true to who she is, to the communities that where she grew up. She reflects characters who are dimensional, and she's a superstar. It's a real honor to have her here. We're honoring Focus Features. Oscar winners this year for The Holdover. Their movies really reflect the kind of storytelling that we believe in: personal, powerful, socially engaged, about humans. And we're really delighted to be honoring Focus Features today. And we have a board member who's been with us for 10 years, Chris Poindexter, and Reel Works has been around for 20 years, so he's been with us almost half our life together. And we owe a lot of our success to Chris.
There's been so much about AI and different things developing in media, affecting the media space. We've had 2 strikes and so forth.
Yep.
What do you see happening in the future, and what do you want to see happen in terms of media and development?
Well, AI is a tool, and we're going to have to train people to use that tool to create stories that couldn't otherwise be told. Just like CGI was a tool that people thought would, ruin movies, but, great artists learn how to use CGI and create worlds that never existed before. I think it's the same thing. At the end of the day, you need real storytellers. You need people with vision. You need communities reflected, human lives reflected. That can't be done artificially. That can only be imitated. Our filmmakers at Reel Works don't imitate anyone. They're true to themselves. So that's why they're the future of filmmaking. And we'll teach them the tools to excel no matter what technology becomes the next phase of the industry.
For people who want to know more about Reel Works, contribute, where can they find you?
Reel Works is at www.reelworks.org, WREELWORKS.org. You can come learn about our free filmmaking workshops for teens in Brooklyn, New York. You can learn about our workforce development programs, our internship programs, and you can support generously our young filmmakers.
Chris, how does it feel to be honored here tonight?
It feels great. My heart is filled with gratitude. This is a humbling experience to share the stage with the folks I'm sharing this stage with. And I feel very special tonight, and I'm very thankful.
Talk to me a little bit about your history with Reel Works, how you got into it.
Yeah. It all started with the screening I went to in the early 2010s, and I fell in love with the organization almost immediately, seeing these young kids make these poignant works about their lives, the issues that were important to them, their families, and I wanted to find a way to support them, and I joined the board very soon after being introduced to the organization. And I've enjoyed watching its growth and its journey as it's gone from just an arts for art's sake organization to really a workforce development organization, creating opportunities for work and jobs for young people with a passion for filmmaking.
It's all about the future of media. What do you want to see happen come down the road here? What do you want to see for Reel Works? What do you want to see for young people in general happening in media?
Yeah, I want to see all the talented kids get the same access that other people get. You know, there's unions, there are jobs, internships that go to someone's nephew or someone's neighbor. I want every kid who has the passion to be able to have those opportunities as well. And I want to see organizations like Reel Works, I want to see more organizations like Reel Works creating access for these kids to do that sort of work.
Can you talk about getting involved and when people get involved, what happens?
Reel Works kind of works as a funnel where there are broad in-school programming where kids can learn about filmmaking in school. We have an in-school program which broadly touches a lot of kids. And then we have an application process for a smaller group that comes to Reel Works and learn on site by being paired one-on-one with filmmakers, and they learn the craft a little bit more in-depthly. And then there are kids who still stick around who join master classes and really, really refine their craft. And then that also leads to pipeline opportunities to go work at other companies. There's media makers, which also brings in a lot of kids and gives them paths into union jobs like hair and makeup, lighting, all sorts of jobs that aren't necessarily easy to navigate getting jobs in those arenas.
And if you had one message for the candidates and people coming in, young people in general looking to get into media, what would that be?
I would say be persistent. It is a long, long journey, but it's a journey that pays off if you remain persistent and true to your goals.
I'm here with Lisa Cortés, guest here tonight. Lisa, how does it feel to be here, a part of ChangeMakers?
Oh my gosh, I was the very first recipient of this recognition many years ago, and I love how it has all grown and become so big as an organization. And Reel Works, it's really important for people to understand what they do for our entertainment community and the young people of New York.
This is all about the future of media. What do you see as the future of media? What do you see happening, and what would you like to see happen?
The future of media is all about being adaptable, long form, short form, branded content, narrative doc, and developing strong skill sets as a storyteller.
And for people who want to know more about you, find your work online, where can they find you?
CortezFilmworks.com.
Roman, how does it feel to be here this evening?
It feels amazing. Everything that they're doing here is incredible, and I'm just honored to be part of it and just to soak up all of this just amazing work.
What has your involvement been with Reel Works?
I actually haven't been involved, and so I'm here to show how I can get involved now and for the future.
Can you tell us what you've been working on and where we can expect to find you?
Yeah, I work on CBS's Ghosts. I play Sesapis on that fun comedy Thursdays at 8:30, 7:30 Central, and I'm also working on this new animated Paramount film, Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, yeah.
What character do you play in Avatar?
I don't know if I can disclose that yet, but I'm in the film, so that's what you know now.
Fantastic. And if people want to find you, where can they find you and learn more about your work?
You can find me mostly on Instagram at Roman Zaragoza.
Carmen, how does it feel to be here amongst the awards chaos?
I love being here. I've been here many years, several years. So happy to support Reel Works. Their work is so important. I'm a storyteller. These kids are all storytellers, whether they're doing technical work or they're actually writing screenplays or directing. Their stories need to be heard, and I'm so happy to be here to support that.
This is all about the future of media. What do you see as the future of media, and what would you like to see as the future of media?
What I'd love to see is more of our stories, right? These are urban youth. Their stories need to be told. I mean, I came up at a time, I was an urban youth. I came up at a time when our stories were not told. That's why I started writing stories. They're very typical American stories that we need to see more of and be elevated as storytellers. So I'm so excited for all to come. These kids are fantastic.
And for people who want to check your work out, I know you have a show running right now. Brag about yourself a little bit if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, sure. So you can find me Instagram at Carmen Rita Wong. And my memoir came out as Why Didn't You Tell Me? So you can hear all about my storytelling there.
I'm here with honoree here tonight, Sanaa Lathan. Sanaa, how does it feel to be here this evening?
I am so excited to be here. I love this organization. I love the work that they do with the youth, and it's necessary. We need to have these kids in this industry. We need all these different perspectives, and it's my honor to be here.
This is all about the future of media and getting young people into media. What do you see as the future, and what do you want to see as the future?
I just want to see the media reflect the world that we live in, which is colorful and diverse and, so multi-dimensional, and I just want to see more of that. I want to see the truth.
And what can we expect to see from you? What do you got going on? What do you got coming up?
I have a movie coming out called The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. It's coming out on Hulu in August, and a movie called Young, Wild, and Free, and that'll be out streaming soon as well.
This year's Brooklyn Film Festival kicked off the summer festival season on May 31st with screenings at the Windmill Studios and Wythe Hotel in Brooklyn. We caught up with some of the creators just before the fest. And joining me now, we've got the director for Ben and Suzanne, A Reunion in 4 Parts, Shaun Seneviratne. Shaun, welcome.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you with us in sort of a virtual red carpet situation. So first of all, I want to ask you about the movie, but congrats for getting into Brooklyn Film Festival. So how does it feel to have your New York premiere here?
Feels great. I mean, the New York premiere is a big one, and we are all based in New York for the most part, and so many of the people that have been part of the very long process of putting this movie together. This movie took 14 years essentially to be put together, and in the last year things really took off the ground. But yeah, so this movie was really bred in New York with my New York film community and my friends here, so it feels really awesome to finally have our New York premiere where everyone in that's local will be able to check the movie out.
Tell us a bit about the film, like what give us a little plot synopsis and what inspired it.
Cool. So Ben and Suzanne, A Reunion in 4 Parts is about a couple in a long-distance relationship, haven't seen each other in a while. They're reuniting for what should be a fun vacation in the place where she is working. Suzanne is working in Sri Lanka. She'd been over there working for an NGO, and you think it's going to be this amazing vacation, and it's not. So it's work brain versus vacation brain. Her boss gives her work that she needs to do, and then that gets in the way of what should just be a lovely romantic vacation. But also, with time having passed, distance definitely affects the relationship in some way. So this movie is very much about the reunion and how a reunion actually takes a little bit of time to actually get to that good place of where we're at now, because a lot can change when people are apart and there's been some time between them.
All right, so you said that the film took 14 years to complete. Was this like a Boyhood situation? Were you filming these people over time, or?
In a way, yes. So for 14 in 2009, I went through an experience in a long distance relationship that was terrible. And while it was terrible, I was like, this is kind of funny. And I feel like this would make a great movie. And I'd just been really obsessed with that idea. And so the reason I make movies is because I wanted to make this movie. So this movie was always the goal. This movie was always the dream. And so over those 14 years, I'd been working on scripts and rewriting. And then in 2015, I made a short film called Tourists. And that's where I first met and cast these actors in the role. And then that movie was meant as the sort of prologue to Ben and Suzanne. That's the trip to the airport, cutting in between with this memory of like a perfect day together. And so we did that in 2015, and that was us really establishing these characters. Then we did another short film in 2020 called The Chill of Loneliness, which is the continued adventures of these characters leading up to Ben and Suzanne. So that movie is about a long distance date night and trying to bridge that distance that can exist between two people when they are apart. So in a way, there is very much this boyhood situation of we have these episodes in a way where these characters get to exist, and we're really developing these characters with each short film, knowing that it's always going to be leading to Ben and Suzanne, a reunion in 4 parts.
Is there like a desired impact that you were going for, or something you want audiences to walk away with?
I want audiences to get into a fight with their partner after watching the movie. No, what I want audiences to walk away with, what my desire was to make a movie that was honest about relationships. And I feel like so many romantic comedies or movies about romance or drama is focused more on like a certain kind of dramatic plot line, or the rom-coms for the most part feel entirely false. And so I wanted to make a movie where this relationship feels like real people that are in a relationship. They are having conversations about the things people in relationships have. They are having arguments about things people in relationships have. And they don't always see eye to eye. Sometimes I think we could feel like, oh, if it's a problem, if two people are not seeing things the same way, then that means it's incompatible. No, I'm a different person from you, Jason, and we're going to have different views on things, but that doesn't mean that there can't be a relationship here. And so much of this movie is about perspectives, and no one is really wrong. Everyone has their reasons. And how do we negotiate and discuss these different perspectives? So I hope this movie starts some conversations with couples, or even if people aren't in a relationship, about what they're seeing over there and identification. But also folks are able to understand that, right, while I might understand and align with this perspective, I totally get that other perspective. And I think the more we're able to do that, maybe the better off society can be, the less divisive things can be, if we understand that we all are a little different and we'll have different perspectives on things.
I like it, man. It's a little couples therapy in there. I appreciate the altruism, but you're going to cause some fights, man.
Oh, definitely. Well, what's so great with the movie too is when audiences watch it, it's like there are people that are team Ben, there are people that are team Suzanne, there are people that are team both, there are team neither. So it really gets to be a conversation starter, and it's all based on everyone's individual perspectives and alignments through the screening of the film, which is what was really important to me. No one's a good guy, no one's a bad guy, they're just people.
Very cool, man. So if people want to know more about you and the film, where can they find you guys online?
So we have a website, benandsuzanne.com, and on there you'll be able to find the short films and any news related to the upcoming festivals coming up. So Brooklyn Film Festival is kicking off 6 festivals that we're going to be doing in June into July, which is really exciting. And on Instagram, we are Ben and Suzanne Movie, at Ben and Suzanne Movie. And so I've been posting fun stuff over there, behind the scenes stuff, anecdotes, mixtapes. And then on Instagram, I'm very accessible as well, The Brown Shaun, Shaun. So that's the best places to be able to find Ben and Suzanne online.
And now joining me, we've got the directors of the film CrookedFinger, Julia Halperin and Jason Cortlund. Welcome, guys.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing this. It's great to have you. Congratulations on the New York premiere of the film.
Thanks.
So give us a little background. Tell us about the movie. Give us a little plot synopsis.
Well, it's a story of a woman who goes home to clear out her parents' estate on Cape Cod after their sudden deaths. And her somewhat estranged brother comes home, and tensions start rising, and some strange noises are happening in the house. So it's a psychological suspense with, you're kind of on that line between supernatural and psychological, where you're not quite sure whether it's in someone's head or whether there's some stuff actually happening.
The subject matter, of course, it's something that a lot of people have to deal with. What kind of inspired it for you guys?
Well, this was a project that we were working on something a little bit different at the, kind of going into the pandemic. And this was something that we decided we wanted we had to call an audible and call off a French co-production that we were just starting to cast. So we were thinking about, what sorts of suspense stories, with kind of a limited location, a limited cast, can give you that production value without it feeling like you're kind of putting people on Zoom. So we thought about films like Knife in the Water, where it's a, three in a box. You have enough characters to kind of, change up the dynamics and kind of play around with things. And I think that it's not just us, but I think a lot of filmmakers in different ways have been making films about grief for the last few years, different kinds of approaches to it. It's I think that's really what inspired both of us. We've had pretty major losses in our family lives and in our friend circles, since we started this project. So it was about kind of, instead of looking for a distraction, and kind of looking for an escape from it, we wanted to kind of plow through it and get to the other side and get that catharsis.
Yeah, and also this is our third feature film. So, before the pandemic, we sort of thought we would be kind of developing towards something that was multilingual and, had some more kind of lavish, if not exactly accurate, but more expansive kind of storytelling. And so we tried to hold on to some of the themes and the visual style, but really change the approach so that it could be done, in the pandemic conditions.
Yeah, there's been a lot of films coming out of COVID and things like that. There's been a ton of documentaries coming out, and I remember like right during COVID, even like short films and stuff at festivals, there was a lot of these like meditations on grief, and most of them are horrible and boring. So how do you take that kind of subject matter? How do you make that entertaining?
I think that's where genre comes into it in a way. I mean, this isn't a hard genre film, but we use grief as a theme. It's not a subject in the film in a way. It's informing the psychology of the relationships, and there are story points about loss, but it's not a film about grief. It's a psychological suspense / supernatural relationship kind of story with a theme of grief. Because I think you're right. People already feel enough of that. They don't necessarily want to go to a theater and like be even more depressed than they were walking in.
Yeah. It's a slow burn story. And I think that, you have to play that tension carefully so that you're giving people, a sense of relief. There are audience members who, when we see it we've seen it in festivals with audiences, and it's like, it's nice to see them laughing at the parts that are funny and feeling, when things are scary that, you get the good reactions from people. So it uses different tools and strategies to kind of play with that tension.
Is there anything in particular, you seen it with some audiences and you got some good reactions, like, is there anything in particular that you want audiences to walk away with after they see the film?
I feel like the directors should stop directing the film once you lock picture. It's like, I feel like I hope that it's a film that, does not provide a lot of all the answers. I want people to kind of keep playing the movie out in their head and kind of think about things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, as an audience member, I enjoy engaging with a story. I don't want to have the score or, the text tell me exactly what to feel. I want to bring my own life experience and my own sort of personhood to watching and my own creative mind to putting together information. So I don't think the film is like too oblique, but we certainly aren't, telling the audience exactly how they should feel about what happens.
There's a fine line, right, between you don't want to be sort of like obtuse and vague and the audience walks out scratching their head. They don't know what the hell they just saw. On the other hand, you don't want to like beat them over the head which, I think a lot of movies do now. I feel like there's almost like a death of subtext happening. Was that going through, is that part of the thought process while you guys were making the film or writing the film?
I think our approach to filmmaking is character based. I mean, I think that there's always a balance between character and plot, and but I feel like you get to more interesting places, more surprising places if you let the characters take you where it's going, because then you're not relying on genre conventions or formulas or even movies that you love, not on structures that you've seen before. If you're letting, real characters that you've developed with actors that you trust and that it can take you to places that are surprising.
Excellent. Well said. Well said. All right. For people who want to follow you guys, follow the progress of the film, where can they find you online?
Instagram's great. We have an Instagram feed. We're on Facebook. We're all the socials.
Tell people what the handles are for the
it's
film.
CrookedFinger Film is the Instagram handle, and it's just on CrookedFinger on Facebook.
And that's all we got for you today. Thanks so much for taking this trip down the rabbit hole. For more of our content, including more film festival coverage, visit our website, norestfortheweekendpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube, youtube.com/getbehindtherabbit. I'd like to thank everyone who came out to chat with us at Reel Works and Brooklyn Film Festival. And for Behind the Rabbit Productions, I'm Jason Godbey. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
This is the BTRP Media Network.